Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Vet Chats, where we help veterans share their awesome stories and help make the veteran community a better place. I hope you'll stay tuned to hear how the new generation is continuing their service. Also, Vet Chats is now available on Roots Across America Radio. We will be played Mondays at 9 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. They have a ton of great veteran content that I know you'll appreciate. You can find them on their website, rootsacrossamerica.org, iHeartRadio, or the Odyssey app. Also, the Veteran Workbook is now available. You can click the link in my bio. Hey, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I'm back. I was gone last week. I was on a 10-day vacation, visiting back home in Wisconsin. So I'm ready to get back into everything. And we have an awesome guest tonight. Her name is Haley. She is the CEO and founder of Torch Warriorwear. She's an Air Force veteran, so we're going to get her on. I see she's requesting. All right. Just accepted you.
Hi, Jenna.
Hey, Haley. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was your weekend?
Oh my gosh. It was fun. Yeah, I'm like sun-kissed, so I went to the beach. I just came back from playing golf. Definitely took some time for myself this weekend. It was nice.
That is so cool. Yeah, I saw you were playing golf. Do you like golf? Are you good at it? How's that?
Well, my grandma, who is actually an Air Force veteran also, literally since I was a young girl, she was like, you're going to play golf because when you're in the Air Force, everyone's going to be playing, so you need to know it. I'm like, okay, smart woman. So I've been playing since I was young, so I'm not great, but I know what I'm doing.
That is so funny. I feel like that's so typical Air Force, doing the more less laborious sports, you know what I'm saying? Somewhere where you can just kind of relax. It's more of a relaxing sport. There we go.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it, for sure. It's I think of it as an opportunity to meet people and really make some good business decisions and show people a different side of you. So the competitive side, but also it's classy competitive,
Yes, I see it. You can show, multi dimensions of yourself. So kind of going off of that, let's go into your story. Was your grandma your inspiration behind joining the Air Force, or what kind of led behind that decision?
Yes. So, my grandma, she served for 20 years and she was a dental assistant actually in the Air Force. Her and my mom traveled all around the world, and I've always heard their stories, but I really didn't even think about going into the military until college came around. And I think a lot of people, it's okay, I need to figure out how to get a scholarship or something. So my grandma was like, all right, look at this ROTC program. And then she was like, maybe even the Air Force Academy. And I was like, well, let's go for it. She's like, just go for it. So I applied to the Air Force Academy and I actually got denied. I was like, oh, well, it's fine. I got into their prep school. So it's you have to do a year before you actually get into the actual school. And I was like,
okay.
I'm not going to do a whole year of military school without even being in the military school. Then I have to do 5 years in college. I was like, I'm not doing that. So we applied to ROTC and I actually got a full ride through the ROTC program. So went that direction, and yeah, kind of the rest is history.
That is really cool. So what job were you going for? Did you sign up for a certain job, or do you sign up for a field? How does that work?
Yeah, no, it's when you join, everyone is kind of general, and I know a lot of kids want to become pilots in the Air Force and all that stuff, and I never wanted to do that, ever. My mom always kind of put in my head become a doctor, or specifically become an anesthesiologist, because then you can make your own hours and all this stuff, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I came in as a chemistry major and thought I would join the military and do the medical route. And I was like, okay, we'll try this out. First physics exam, I got a 3% on it, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to be because you have to take 3 more classes, and there's no way I could do this. So I switched to math, which was not easier, but it was kind of just more, it allowed me to kind of not have to go into all like the medical classes and stuff. So did that. And then when it was like my junior year, they ask you what jobs you're looking at. And I met a public affairs officer at a, what are they called? The fly shows or the air shows,
Okay.
I met her at an air show and I was like, I want to do her job. She gets to travel the world and she gets to talk to people. She was so cute and fun. I was like, I can do that. And so I applied to that and got rejected.
What?
And yeah, it's hard to get that job right out of ROTC because especially if you're a technical major, so a STEM degree, they want you to be in something more technical. They're like, we don't
Oh,
want you to just like,
I see.
so yeah, they were like, no, you're gonna go personnelist. So that's like force support or HR or like kind of like logistics is kind of in there a little bit. And yeah, so I got that instead, which I think is a blessing.
Yeah, because I think that really maybe prepared you for what you're doing now and something that you could build on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so while you were in college, you also did cheerleading. How did you balance all these different, hats, for a better word?
Oh my gosh. Well, Jenna, it's just time management and communication with your leadership and my coach. And they all knew that I was doing ROTC and doing cheerleading. So it was like, okay, if I have a game that's like a basketball game that's in Indiana or something, I tell my leadership, I'm like, what do I need to make up my, if I'm going to miss a couple days? And they knew that, and every student athlete kind of goes through that entire thing. So it was nice. They kind of worked with me. And, I couldn't stop cheering. That's like it was just my love. It was like my passion, on the side. I was like, I can't stop. So I don't know. Have you ever played any sports or were you in like cheer, dance or anything?
I did basketball and track. So that was like my
other side of the girls spectrum. Yeah. I'm like totally not coordinated with basketball at all, so good for you.
I did do majorettes, which is like baton twirling. So I kind of get like the dance thing, and there's nothing more cool than just being in sync with, your team. So I get that part.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, team sports in general, I feel like they teach you so much, and especially with dance, like it is like we have to be the exact same, and if anybody's off, especially with cheerleading, it's like somebody could literally die, so you have to be really careful.
That's true. Isn't cheerleading like the worst injuries per sport, like most extreme injuries?
Yes. Jenna, oh my God, I've seen girls get landed on from like a backflip, like another girl landed on her. I've seen girls fall from like literally like up here, fall on their face, break their finger. I mean, I've seen like literally every type of injury, broken noses, whatever. I've never broken anything. I think I had like maybe like a twisted ankle one time, if that, but like strong bones, I guess. And I was like a back spot. I didn't go in the air. I'm too big for that.
Oh, still, like I get chills thinking of like those falls and that. Oh, especially because you're in front of a crowd too. That puts you more on edge.
Oh my gosh. Funny story, and we'll move forward, but my friend at Penn State, which is like one of the largest stadiums for football, like 110,000 fans, she went to go tumble and do like a backflip and totally fell on her face. And it was just like everybody in the stadium was like, ooh. It's just, she was fine, but it's like, it happens for sure.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I couldn't even get back up after that happened. It's like, just hide me.
Leave me here. Like, I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah, see, these seem like two totally different worlds, like with the Air Force and then cheerleading. How did you get any pushback from anyone saying like, why are you doing this? This doesn't seem like your type of thing.
Well, I think because I did it in college, and then when I transitioned them to active duty and did professional, like they saw my background and I showed a track record of being able to handle both. So when I went into active duty, of course they were just kind of like, all right, like what does the professional cheerleading world look like? A lot of people think it's just as intense as being in the NFL, and it's not. We all have to have our own careers at the same time. So we usually practice at night, and it's like 2 nights a week for 3 hours. Like, they expect us to practice outside of practice because of, you know, they expect us to be professional. So,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like games on Sundays, and we don't usually work on Sundays, and I wasn't working on Sundays with my job as a force support officer and as a recruiter, so it ended up working out.
Wow, that's cool. I never knew that, because I definitely thought that too. Like, you would always be with the team, you know, traveling. But you're right, it's more of like a weekend thing.
Yeah, we don't travel unless it's for the Super Bowl. So
Okay, so it's only home games. That makes sense. So
yes,
when you were, yeah, so when you were in Atlanta, right? So you were doing the Falcons cheerleading, and then you also had a full-time job with the Air Force, right?
Yes.
And what was that like? I bet you that kind of like drew people in. They're like, oh, I would like to do that. Like, good for her.
Yeah, I think, you know, it was still like, it was public, but it wasn't that public. And whenever girls would reach out to me, maybe like who were at the Air Force Academy, who were on the dance team, or they were in other ROTC detachments and they were cheerleaders and dancers at the same time, I would try to get everybody together and be like, this is how you make it happen. And I almost kind of assumed the role of just like helping other women be able to do what I get to do, because it's so fun and it's so possible if you choose the right career and you have, you know, good communication with your leadership. So it, you know, it was fun to be able to help other people, like when they kind of learned about my story.
Yes, absolutely. And were you stationed anywhere else after that?
Yes. So Atlanta and then Northern California. I was at Beale Air Force Base, and then I was remotely located in Atlanta at Georgia Tech University. I had like an office in there, which was good for recruiting because it was a central location.
Yeah, definitely. I can totally see you being a recruiter, just because you're such a people person, and like, yeah, that was probably a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. What did you do in the Navy again?
I did weather. So
Weather.
yes. Yeah, I would tell you what was going on right now. I couldn't forecast or anything, but I just kind of let the pilots know what the weather was like now.
Got it. Understood. Very cool. I think Keesler Air Force Base. Have you ever been there?
That's where I was stationed. That's where I did my training.
Very cool. Okay, yes. I took a field trip there one time, like ROTC, and they like showed us, because that's a big weather hub, and they showed us all the whole room. I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. It looks really high tech and all that. Oh, that's cool you've been to Keesler, because that was like my first base, and I got to experience the Air Force like dining facility and all that luxurious stuff. And I was like sending pictures of my room, my like barracks room, to my friends from boot camp, and they're in Navy barracks, and they're just like, I'm just like, oh, that's not what I have. Like, I actually have carpeting.
Hey, Keesler's not bad, and you get like every other Friday off too because of the training.
Love that.
Yeah, and like Biloxi is dope. Like, I had a great time when I was there. I was like, this is a cool spot.
It was. I wish I would have been 21, but also grateful because like I did not need to gamble at that age.
Yes. Very true.
Yeah, so what I wanted to get into next was kind of like your transition out. When did you know it was time and you were ready for the next thing?
Yeah, well, I knew I was going to kind of take my commitments like a year at a time. I was like, okay, I have a 4-year commitment. I never thought, like, in my head, I thought if I'm having fun and I'm enjoying my job, I will stay in. And I think a lot of people say that, like, they'll get out when they stop having fun, that type of thing. And when I moved from recruiting back to my career, doing kind of more desk work behind the desk, I just didn't feel like I was like completely loving my job. Like, I was so spoiled in Atlanta. I got to be out and about and meeting people, and like I said, like, this is my personality to be like really out and talking to people. And I just realized, I was like, well, if I can't continue doing something like that, I don't think and I just realized I was not that good at my job either. I was like, I'm not good at this stuff. I'm not that organized. I'm like, I don't like all this stuff. I was like, I don't think I can do it.
Yeah. So, no, I feel that.
Yeah, you just kind of realize, I'm like, this is just not my strength. And so when I moved to Cali, COVID hit, and it kind of washed like a whole year out of my contract, but I was still like kind of working from home. I met my boyfriend. He's from Northern California and Santa Cruz, and we just started having the conversation. He's like, "Do you like your job?" I was like, yes and no. Like, it's amazing, but I do think that I could be doing something, outside. I have some skills. I don't know what it is yet. And so we started having the conversations, and then one night I kind of came up with the idea for my businesses, and I was like, all right, like, I think this is the out, and I think I can do this full time.
Yes, yeah. So that was kind of like your segue, but that's kind of a scary time. I mean, sure, you already had a degree, right? But like that was kind of an intense time to get out, job wise, like job market wise. You weren't sure what was out there, and so like mentally, like how did you prepare for that, or what kind of gave you the strength to say like I'm gonna be okay on the other side?
Well, I really do think that entrepreneurship is so cool because you don't really have to, if you have the right idea and you have the right market, you don't necessarily have to worry about the rest of the world and like what's going on with it. Like for me, I chose a market that's never going away. The military is not going anywhere, so it's like if you can, if you can create a product that women, or again, like my ideal customer is women in the military, if they need this product and I can continue creating products that they need, I will always have a customer and I will always know how to make money. So I was like, no, regardless of the economy, like the military is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I knew that there was some, like, I felt secure in that kind of position. And then, it's funny, I was just thinking about this the other day. I've always been kind of a creative mind. Like even when I was younger in high school, like if we had a school project, like mine looked like unbelievable. Remember you have to make like a box, like a cereal box, and like decorate it,
like a diorama.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Have you ever been to AC Moore?
No. Oh, what's that?
Oh, it's like a craft store kind of thing. It's like in Pennsylvania or whatever. But okay. I'm telling you, like I was always in there, and I was just like, I loved creating things, and I was like, I think my ideas, I'm like, and how I'm creating it, how I'm putting it out there to the world, I think I have the drive, the creativity, and the product to get out and be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you kind of like have that creative mindset, sometimes you don't realize that other people don't think like that, and that what you have is actually really unique. And then on top of that, like your personality, your people skills, like it's just like the package deal for an entrepreneur.
Thank you. That's the biggest thing I've been learning more. I wish I got a degree in like human psychology or something like that. Like math, I don't really use it that much other than like like figuring out what's 10% off or like whatever. But
That's
it's like it is important, but I'm like, I wish I did do like a minor in econ, but if like anyone's listening and they're interested in entrepreneurship, like start learning about people and how to sell and what makes them tick and negotiation skills, all these things. Like it's so important because AI is here. AI is, all those things are here, but like this is so important, being able to connect and relate to people and make them feel good and happy. It's so important.
And that's another thing that's not going away. It's just like face-to-face, like actual conversations with people. So
yeah, exactly. And the people who can do it are going to make a lot of money. Okay, so start working it now, everyone. It's important. It's important.
Yeah. So and you had such an incredible start with going on Veteran Shark Tank. How did that come about?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm queen of Google. Okay. I will Google the crap out of anything. I'm like, all right, I have this idea. I'm like, how do I get into more pitch competitions? And how do I like get money for my business? I'm like, I've been bootstrapping this. I've been using my savings. I took out my entire like 401k from the military and put it into my business. Like, I mean, I was like, I don't have any money left. And so I did join a company called, yes, first thing, good people greater than bots. I joined this business cohort called Bunker Labs. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I've heard of it. Yes.
Bunker
That's
Labs.
So cool. I didn't know that.
Yes. I found that because I wanted to find a community of veteran entrepreneurs that could help and connect. And I think it's so important as a solo entrepreneur to have people around you that can help connect you to other resources. So
Mm-hmm.
Bunker Lab told me to look online for different pitch competitions. And then I think Veteran Shark Tank kind of came up from that. And then me kind of looking on my own. And I just applied. Like, I was like, I've never pitched in my life. I've never done this. But I'm like, I've been able to stand in front of thousands of fans. I think I can do it. So
That's
like,
true. Really.
so yeah, I just applied and it was amazing. Such an amazing experience. I learned so much. Like, I don't think people understand, like, your business, when people say your business is your baby, like, it genuinely feels like it's your child. You've, from the ground up, the time and energy and money you put into it, to be able to stand up there and share with people that might not know or might not even like what you're doing, it's like, it's nerve-wracking, but it's so, it builds your confidence. It builds your confidence. And then when you win, you're like, finally, a little bit of validation. Like, you don't need validation from everybody, but like to say like, okay, I'm not crazy. This is working, other people get it. So yeah, amazing opportunity.
Yeah, I bet you it also kind of reinforced your purpose in doing this and like seeing other people compliment the product and like the product. So at this, like, how would you compare Veteran Shark Tank to regular Shark Tank? Like, is it similar? Is it like more of the namesake?
Well, watching the show, there's a couple of differences where they're not taking, so Veteran Shark Tank doesn't take equity in your company. Shark Tank
That's cool.
does, yeah, they just give you a $50,000 grant. So it's literally just for you to use towards your business, which is amazing and no strings attached. So there's $50K for you. For Shark Tank, they will be taking equity. Next, it's like an entertainment thing. I know Shark Tank is like a show too, but there's literally a live audience for Veteran Shark Tank. And there's a person speaking and being like, all right, the next entrepreneur is blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like an event. It's a show. And so that's pretty cool. And then I would say the other difference is the judges aren't there to trip you up or to make you feel, how sometimes they can be like kind of hard on Shark Tank. Veteran Shark Tank, all the judges are there to really root for you and like just like get you to share your story and to give you the opportunity to like really shine. So it's cool. It feels like a family event, if that kind of makes sense.
Yes, and I bet you that's a lot more kind of comforting, less nerve-wracking.
Definitely.
So after that, like at this point, did you already have a prototype? Did you have like, was your brand already launched or it was?
Yes. We launched in June of 2021. We won Shark Tank December 2022. So we were in business for like a year and some change. And we were global at that point. So we had a lot of good customer reviews and like our products were all good. So we were moving and shaking.
Yeah, you're pretty established. And then, so what point did you start to like really go viral online?
Honestly, it's such an ongoing thing. Like, some videos hit whatever, but really the second I hit, like, put it on TikTok, it went viral. Like, that was like, I know, it was like
everyone's dream.
I know. And the great thing is that once that it hit, that's what kind of made me say, oh, women want this. That kind of gave me that extra thing to say, instead of me pouring money into something that I didn't think was going to work, it actually was like, all right, it's going viral. I need to make this product. And I actually took pre-orders instead of having my product. So I took pre-orders, used that cash to fund my initial inventory.
That's smart. Then you're like not risking too much. And what was it like to kind of develop the product and kind of, put the price on it and everything? What was like all that like?
Yeah, well, I see you just launched like a book or a notebook.
The workbook.
The workbook. I love that. I've like always wanted to do something like that. So congratulations. I think that's really cool. You're welcome. I'm going to have to get one. I'll see you in Vegas, but I'll definitely have to get one. I'll
be bringing them to Vegas, that's for sure.
Good. I don't know if you did or not, but the second I knew I wanted to develop this product, I hired a business coach who specialized in product development and brand development. And she's a woman and she's freaking amazing. And she walked me through how to price things, where to, look for manufacturers, and how to launch it on my site, and finding my ideal customer, and all of that kind of side of things. But the development of the actual product, I knew in my heart what I wanted to create. I didn't really need like a design team. I just maybe needed like the logo to be tweaked here and there, and this little thing here and there. It's just like the business side of things, just to make it look professional.
Yeah. Oh, that is so awesome. I mean, because, yeah, I'm just kind of like, I just launched this. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it. And yeah, I'm kind of lacking like the structure on what doors I want to knock on, like where I want to take this. And I'm sure your coach helped you with all that and like where to go and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Best advice I've been given is like, look at your product and look at your business and be like, okay, break it into two parts: brand development and product development. So your product is your workbook. Does it need to be switched, changed? Are you getting feedback like, oh, I think you should put this in there? Like perfecting your product, that's super important. That's the product development side of things. Then you have the brand development side of things. It's like, how are people finding you? What are the colors? Like, what is the psychology around people finding your brand and interacting with your brand? How are you bringing them back? What's the customer experience? Like, that's the brand development side. Are you building a community around it? Like, you're doing that with your podcast and stuff. So it's like, if you break it into two, it kind of allows you to think like what needs to be worked on next. Like, and again, business is always, you can learn something always. So you're just like, all right, this is doing good. Now this needs to do good. So it's like that.
Yeah, I love that. And that kind of simplifies it, like kind of separating it. Because again, like sometimes it can be all over the place. And like, yeah, I kind of make it more complicated. I think we all do that. We make it more complicated because it's personal, right? Like you said, like this is your baby. It's hard not to be emotionally connected to it.
Absolutely. And the best thing you can do is genuinely ask other people questions and advice. Like, what do you want to see? I think a lot of entrepreneurs get it wrong where they assume, right? You assume this is what people want. This is definitely what they want. But did you ask? Like, just ask. Just ask like ask like 5 of your ideal customers. I usually create like a questionnaire. I'm like, where do you spend most of your time? Where are you finding your inspiration? Like, what's your favorite, for me, it's like, what's your favorite clothing brand? And then you look at what they like, and then you're like, okay, I see they like this. I'm going to put pieces of that in my brand and all that stuff. It's like a puzzle too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a collage of everything. So besides like positive feedback, have you got any like, cause you're pretty like out there, have you got any haters or like, not so nice feedback?
Yes. Not people who have tried my product though. I will say that.
Okay.
It's all people who have never tried it and they're like, why would anybody ever do this? What product is this? Why would, why are you overly sexualizing the military or whatever, blah, blah. Just people who have never tried the product and aren't aware of what we're actually doing, which is building confidence and making women feel more comfortable and having female-friendly products. And that's the bottom line. So Facebook, oh my gosh, find us on Facebook. You'll see all the comments there.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's crazy. Yeah. But what are you going to do? Because if it was my customers and then they hated the product, that's one thing. But everyone who's tried it, they love it. And then people who've never tried it, I'm like, just try it. Stop talking crap. Just try it.
Exactly. And I think so many people have a picture of what a woman looks like in uniform and what she's supposed to look like, and then when they see these like empowering feminine images, they're like confused, so they have to say something.
It's different, and that's what happens when you create different, and that's okay. I'm happy. I'm like, bring it on, bring more awareness. If you're talking about what good publicity, no publicity is bad publicity. I mean, we keep it clean. But
exactly, it pushes it in the algorithm, especially when they start going back and forth. It's like, yep, keep boosting it, let's go.
Exactly. Yeah.
So another question I thought of was a lot of time when people get out of the military, they really disassociate from the military. Like they don't want a job, they don't want anything like the military. But obviously that wasn't really an option for you, but because your brand is so tied with the military. But did you go through anything like that where you're just like, like I can't even look at a uniform anymore, like I know. Yeah, like that sort of thing.
Oh man, I would say yes. I never even had the opportunity to wear my product really in my uniform.
Yeah.
I had came up with it when I was getting out, which I was like, dang. So literally the t-shirts that we had to wear, I never wanted to put one of those on ever again. I was like, they're horrible. I literally hate them. But I will say too, I got braids and like put a little collar in my hair and was like, I couldn't do this in the military, like that type of
Yep.
thing. I think a lot of women go like the hair route first. It's like,
Oh
let's just
yeah.
blue
I
or
had blue
blonde.
hair.
Yes, because you're
Yep.
just like, Marina.
Exactly.
Like, whatever.
You just gotta do
Yeah.
something.
Yes. But the more you have a bigger, like a perspective on it, the more you realize that with anything in life, there's pros and cons. And we are so fortunate to be able to have had that opportunity to serve and to also like have the stability and the building block to get to the next level, because the veteran word is so strong in today's world. It's a brand. It's like when you say, oh, I worked for Tesla or something like that, it's the same type of caliber and people respect it. I mean, even more.
Yeah.
So you have to look back at it in a different lens. And sure, there were restrictions and sure, all these things, but there were so many good things that came out of it. How are you going to leverage that? And how are you going to be a better person? You can't just, and that's your past, like embrace it, all parts of it. And, that's kind of my thing. I'm like, I'm really thankful that I had that experience, but I'm happy that I am now Haley and can do what I love to do, but because of the military. So it's good. And to give back and still give back and make it better. That's really what it all comes down to. It's like making it better for the future generations also.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I know it takes some time before you get to that point. But once you're there, it's like once you're there and you're able to appreciate it and, kind of tie it into what's your identity today, it makes all the difference. It really does.
Yes. And discipline is important to any success in any. I've been learning it too. I'm like, I might have went on the spectrum of like too relaxed for a little while. And then it's like, I actually need to reel it back in and put some more discipline into my life so I can reach my goals, all these things. And it's important every day, daily discipline. And, what the military has taught you to be respectful and to, acknowledge people when they're walking down the street, like, good afternoon or whatever. Even these things like email etiquette, like I just feel so professional. I can be so professional and I feel so equipped, so.
And it's like second nature. I definitely felt like that when I was going to college, and all these college kids are like the professors would send out an email, hey, by the way, like this is the proper way to send an email. And I was like, they're not doing this, because it was just so automatic.
Exactly. It's so important. Just customs and courtesies. It's awesome. Goes a long way.
It really does. And showing up on time and looking good, like that's half the battle right there.
Exactly. That's half the battle. Showing up on time. That's huge. It's huge.
Yes. So how did you come up with the name for Torch?
Yeah, so I think my grandma is actually joined right now.
Oh, how cool.
Hi, Grams. She's awesome. She was literally, we were having a conversation, and again, throughout my entire active duty service, she's been the person who's been there I can call like on my hard days or on my great days, getting promoted, all these things. And I remember going through COVID and just like, it was tough. Like it was just really tough. And I just remember her telling me like, Haley, like, do not let anybody steal your light. Like, do not anyone or any situation or anything steal your light, because it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. And if you allow other people to steal that from you, it's like, then the world just gets in a darker place. So just stay positive, stay like a light, and I always thought like that was super important. And that inner fire, your inner flame, your inner like just passion and living authentically to yourself. So I just feel like Torch gave me that it's like a strong word. It's all about inner flame. It's all about passing the torch, giving back to the future generations, and like leading, like really leading. And our company, I think, is really leading from the front for female uniform items. And we're here to like completely change how we feel and look in our uniform. So it's exciting, it's strong, and that's kind of where it came from.
What a great message. I love that. I love that. And I could like picture it. It gives such a visual when you're explaining it, and how cool is that to have for your brand? I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people saying hi, Grandma, in the comments. She is well known because she made an appearance on one of your, was it a pitch or something?
Yes, it was Better in Shark Tank. She was there. She was modeling our Coyote Brown bodysuit.
That is so awesome. I can't even imagine how proud of you she is.
Oh.
So when you're kind of like down, or like you feel like your light is being dimmed, what is something, or what advice would you give to other women to reignite that, or remind yourself of your value and what you're worth?
Yes, 3 things. Get out of your head and into your body. I always tell women that. Get outside, get some sun, work out. You need to release. That's one big thing. Number 2 is journaling. I think reminding yourself of what you want, what your passions are, what you're good at, what your strengths are, because sometimes we deviate from that and are, if you're in the military and you're just like, oh, I'm not really good at my job right now, whatever. It's like reminding yourself of what you love to do and finding ways to integrate that back into your life. For me, for example, I'm not cheering or dancing anymore, but I will always go take a heels class at the dance class down the road or something. Like, I'll just it'll be so fun. Like, I'll be like, I need to go dance and just shake my butt or something, whatever. So that's important. And then I would say, I just posted this thing, Mel, I think it's Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Mel Robbins. She's amazing. And she always says, when you feel stuck or when you're feeling low, try to learn a new skill, or learn something different, something completely different. Maybe it's go learn how to golf, or maybe it's go learn how to paint or something like that, or just get your mind. It's when you have too much idle time, I think, when you just start feeling some type of way, fill your time with something it's energizing your brain and your body. I think that's super important.
Mm-hmm. And it's such a great way to shift our perspective, get out of what we're normally doing and looking at. Yeah, I love that. I love those 3 things. That was so good because, guys, I didn't send Haley any questions. She's just on it. She knows. She's got her answers ready.
Comes from the heart. It comes from experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I can definitely tell that. So we are coming up on time, and I wanted to give you some space to share where people can find you, or anything else that you feel like people should know.
Definitely. Well, first of all, thank you, Jenna, for having me on here. I'm so happy we connected. I've been stalking you for forever and loving your content. I'm this girl has the coolest name, Millennial Veteran. It's so important. So everybody stay she's doing big things. So amazing. I'm really happy we connected. Also, me and Jenna are actually going to be going, hopefully, to Vegas for the Military Influencer Conference. Yes. So that'll be fun. Maybe we're going to be doing a dinner or something too. So everyone, stay in the loop for the Military Influencer Conference. And I'm on Instagram at I am Haley Marie, or of course Torch at Torch_Warriorwear. And yeah, just check us out on there.
Yes. Oh, wait, we have one question. Oh, this is cool. What is your favorite item from Torch Warriorwear?
My favorite, oh my goodness. Well, which one brings in the most money? Or,
I love how honest you are.
Well, Coyote Brown, which is for Air Force, Army, and Space Force. Obviously, I would have been able to wear that. It's just the classic one that I feel is nostalgic for me, and we get the most sales from it. So it's my favorite.
That is so cool. Well, Haley, it has been such a pleasure to have you on and help you share your story and what you're up to now. And I'm super excited to meet you in person. I feel like we're just going to have such a good time.
We will.
Yes, yes. And I want to thank everyone for joining the live, or if you're catching the replay, or if you're hearing this on the radio. I hope you enjoyed, and please go check out Haley and check out Torch Warriorwear. All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Have
Thank
a good
you, everyone.
one.
Thank you, Jenna.
Thank
Have a good night,
you.
everyone.